of flavors, bringing you savory stories, delectable recipes, and the hottest culinary trends. Catch Flavor Fix on Mondays from 5 to 7 right here on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM The Voice.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
Hey y'all, it's Monday and we grooving, and I'm kind of salty that it's cold out. Happy Flavor Fix Monday. I'm so glad to be in the studio with some amazing people. We're here with Flavor Fix on WNOV The Voice, 860 AM and 106.5 FM. How y'all feeling today? Doing good?
Yeah.
I have Chef Kishori here with me from Cocoa Tree Confectionery, and I have Mr. Justin Carlisle from Ardent, and they're going to tell us a little bit about all the ins and out of the chocolate world and confections, and what Justin has been up to this winter and what's coming up with him. As always, if you want to chime in, if you want to share or comment, call us at 414-444-5250. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in on the radio, on YouTube at WNOV The Voice. You can also watch us live on Facebook at 860 WNOV. All right, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I got an icebreaker. I love icebreakers.
Uh-oh. I'm scared.
No, it's okay. It's nothing crazy.
right.
All right. So, which fruit or vegetable best describes you and why?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Well, I'm shaped like an eggplant.
You're shaped like an egg. Oh my gosh.
Kind of. Oh boy.
that is a hard one.
That's a hard one. While you think
Yes.
about that one, I'll give you, what would you rather have, Dunkin' or Starbucks for coffee?
Oh, Starbucks.
Starbucks.
I'm going Dunkin'.
You going Dunkin'?
Yeah.
Why?
When they switch to the Pike place, I don't like it.
I don't go to either,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a fanatic about either one, but
Uh-huh.
I find that Dunkin' is just too strong
Too strong
for me. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Plus, I'm I'm lactose intolerant, so
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can do the oat milk over at Starbucks.
Got you. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard.
I'm a mustard person too.
Horseradish.
Okay. Horseradish. Sweet or savory? Uh-oh.
Honestly,
Miss Confection.
savory.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my God, when you're
Yeah, I'm
around
savory.
chocolate all the time, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah, I understand
Yeah,
that.
savory.
I'm savory too.
Yeah.
But I did take on a sweet tooth once the 2020, once the pandemic kind of started. I don't know where that came from, because I've never been a sweets person.
Boredom.
I still don't like cake. I
I
still don't like cake. But I have been eating cookies, and I've been trying different things a
Sure.
little more, because I got a lot of chef and foodie friends
Oh,
who want me to
yeah,
try
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Did you think about the other one? The fruit or
Oh,
vegetable?
the fruit or
Yeah.
vegetable.
Did you say it?
I didn't.
What did you come up with?
Apple.
Ah, that's mine too.
Yeah?
Why?
I'm a little stubborn on the outside and a little crisp, but then I can be sweet sometimes too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
started to think I'm the same person all the way around, but I feel like I have different personalities that come out.
Sure.
I do.
Yeah.
Debo. And so that's when I think of different apples, because sometimes, it might start off a little sweet and it gets a little bitter,
I do. Yes.
What about
See,
you?
I would have to say, on that same note, I would have to probably say a watermelon
Mm.
because I'm kind of hard on the outside, but
Yeah.
then, I'm sweet on the inside.
Sure.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it would probably have to, but you really got to work hard
Yeah.
to get to that. Yeah,
What you
Yeah.
say, Debo?
yeah, to get the seeds.
Right,
to
yeah,
get the seeds
out,
There
right,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-oh,
you got
so
to work hard.
You
gotta
need the
work
seeds
hard.
in the watermelon, right?
I'm seedless.
You're seedless?
I'm seedless.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I can't reproduce. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
But yeah, I'm too old. But no,
Okay.
I think it just you gotta work.
Got you.
to get at the good stuff.
Well, that's a good segue into
Yeah.
this next question of
Yeah.
all about Miss Kashori.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off with
What you
your
want to know?
background, your introduction, how you started, where you're from, all the good things.
Where am I from? Well, I was born in India, but I've lived here.
Okay.
I've lived in the States pretty much all my life.
Okay.
And what got me into chocolate? It's an age old story. No, my daughter actually is allergic to nuts.
Okay.
And that's really where it started. Is I could never find my daughter a nut free Easter bunny. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make one. And so I went off to the store and bought myself a bag of Nestle morsels, and that did not go well. It did not go well. So I said, you know what, I'm going to be that mom who makes like the perfect birthday cakes, like those, awesome birthday cakes. That did not go well. And so I started taking classes to learn how to do it. And when I exhausted all of, the wonderful baking classes that were out there, one of the chefs said, you should take these classes at the Chicago Chocolate Academy. And that sounded really intriguing. And what I did not realize when I signed up for them is those are the classes that, the top chefs at the hotels around the world come to take these classes. And I was way out of my league. I mean, just insanely out of my league. But, fake it till you make it. And so I was, standing around with these, chefs at the Hotel Intercontinental and, at these top hotels. And I'm just, creme brulee. And, I had no idea what I was doing. But, I took a lot of these really great pastry classes. And then all of a sudden, here comes this chef who did pastry and chocolate at one of the classes. And I'm not going to lie, he was French. And that was great. And I just kind of fell in love with chocolate.
Okay.
And I thought, hey, this is great. And I made some bonbons similar to these for, they're much more rudimentary, but I made them for some of my husband's clients, and we got a really good response. And at one point, my husband said, okay, you need to, fish or cut bait. He said it a little more crassly, but he said, fish or cut bait. I think we spent enough money on this. So, hey, let's do this.
Right.
And he's been my biggest supporter. Absolutely.
Awesome.
From day one. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure you can vouch for the fact you have to have a supportive spouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
My wife's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So, and I still have yet to make my daughter that Easter bunny, which she likes to remind me all the time that she never actually got that Easter bunny. So,
How old is your daughter? Did you say that?
18.
Okay.
She's 18.
Oh, wow.
She's 18. But I got busy. But she's had some really great birthday cakes.
I'm sure.
She's got some great birthday cakes. But I have yet to get her that Easter bunny. So here it is. She's watching.
Yeah.
Mira, I got
You
your
get
cake. I got your Easter bunny.
So that journey after the culinary of the school, what did that look like for you?
You mean kind of transitioning from I still take classes.
Okay. Life learner, love it.
Absolutely.
Because you got to learn something every day.
Absolutely. The majority of my classes were taken at the Chicago Chocolate Academy, but I have since, I don't know if you're familiar with Amore Gouchon. He's the guy who, if you look him up on YouTube, he does these chocolate showpieces that are just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And he has his own academy out in Las Vegas, as does Melissa Koppel. She's another world-renowned chocolatier. I've taken classes with the two of them, as well as Luis Amato in Michigan. And Barry Callebaut also has academies in Montreal and New York, and I've taken classes there. So, so you got to keep learning. You can't
Always.
stop. Yeah, you can't stop, because there's as many techniques as there are chefs who have different ways of doing them. So I think I found that every chef has a different way of doing it, and I've learned something from every chef that I've taken a class with.
Right.
So that's kind of where it's at, is that I keep on taking these classes and I keep learning a new way to do something that I just never thought of. So
when did you know that you wanted a brick and mortar? Were
The
you
day I
working
got the
places for
keys.
that for the before then, or you kind of just
No.
went right in?
No, I mean, Justin and I were just talking about this actually. I've always been, I started in the restaurant industry when I was, I think it was 16 actually or 17.
Okay.
And I've always been in this industry. And then I went and I got a business degree because the interesting thing is, being of East Indian descent, your parents kind of expect that you got to get a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a business degree. But I think looking back at if I had had my way, I would have gone to culinary school.
Okay.
But back then there was no Chef Ramsay. It wasn't glamorous. If I had said to my parents, oh, hey, I want to go to culinary school to be a chef, they would have heard, you want to be a cook.
Right.
And that would not have been acceptable.
Right.
So I went and I got my business degree. And the blessing that came out of that is that working in corporate, that's where I met my husband.
Okay.
So working in public accounting, there was a blessing there. There was a silver lining, but in some way, shape, or form, I was always still attached to the culinary world, whether I was tending bar or doing something in the culinary world. And, after I got married and, had some kids and I was lucky enough to stay home and raise my kids, there was still that itch. I was still missing that world. And, we were discussing that it gets in your blood.
Yeah.
And you just,
does.
Yeah.
Got something you want to add there?
Yeah.
It's addictive.
It is.
Mhm.
It is.
It is.
And it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And either you have what it takes or you don't.
True that.
Yeah. And, I know that after my kids were at a certain age where I could actually get back into the industry, my body was not at the point where I could be, where I could do what Justin's doing.
Right.
My body's not.
Not
at all. Not at all.
I'm older than you are, but there's no way. There's no way my back and my knees,
Yeah. No,
I couldn't do it to the extent that he's doing it.
It takes a toll.
Yeah.
I don't recoup as fast anymore.
Nope. None of us do.
Either.
None of us do.
No.
So this was a good compromise.
So tell me a little bit about your team. Is it just you mostly running the show? Who's helping you behind the scenes?
Feels like it's me sometimes, all the time. I actually have a staff of 9 teenagers.
Okay.
And
what's their age range?
Well, the youngest one is 15.
Okay.
And the oldest teenager actually is going to be 19, but he'll be off to college.
Yeah.
He started with me. Actually, he started when he just turned 15.
Okay.
He started.
I love that.
Yeah. And I've watched him grow from this dorky kid into this amazing young man. And he actually got a 34 in his ACT. And he is going to be,
Yep.
he will be off to the Ivy League.
Where's he going?
He hasn't decided yet.
Okay.
He hasn't decided, but he'll be off to the Ivy League for sure.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he's going to be leaving me this fall. And but yeah, he's been with me almost since day one. But yeah, he's an amazing kid. But most of my staff actually start with me when they are quite young. And I've had a couple of them leave for college, and they come back when they're on spring break and summer break. And 2 of them now are no longer coming back because they've moved on to their careers.
Yeah.
But usually when they start with me, they stick around.
Yeah. Do any of them want to go into the field?
Not a one. None of them.
I was going to say, don't let them.
No, not one of them have any sort of inclination to go into the culinary field at all. But you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
When they are there, they are invested, which is fantastic because you don't find very many teenagers who who have any sort of staying power or any attention span these days.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have to tell them to put their phones down. I don't have to worry about them. Yeah, I mean they are focused and they are invested while they're there.
Yeah,
they're great kids. Yeah, they're great kids.
So each chocolate place that I've come across here has a unique and distinctive look and vibe. What do you feel separates you from the others?
Honestly, I don't know because I don't compare myself to the others. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I just really I focus on what I do.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the others are doing because I don't look at us as competitors.
Right.
You know, there's enough
That's
room
how
for
it
all.
should be.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, there's enough room for all of
There
us.
is.
Yeah.
I don't.
There is.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention. And again, I'm not saying that from I'm up on high, and it's not that. I just I have to focus too much on what I'm doing to worry about what anyone else is doing. I can't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And how?
Get wrapped up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that there are some fantastic things going on. I mean, Melt is
Oh,
doing
yeah.
some
Phenomenal.
amazing things.
Mhm.
I mean, they're doing it.
They are.
They really are. You know, but and that's not to say that anyone else isn't doing a great job, but I know that
I hear you. Yeah.
I've had some of their stuff, and I'll tell you, when I travel overseas, one of the things that I love doing with my staff is anytime I go anywhere, really, I bring back chocolate, and I brought my staff chocolate from Spain and London and France, of course, and anywhere I go, I bring them chocolate, and we sit down and we play a little game where you know, we taste test everything, and I make them guess what it is, what flavor it is, and I brought them chocolate from Melt, and we all unanimously agreed that that was some of the best chocolate we have had among all the chocolate that we've had from around the world.
Shout out to Bjorn and
Right.
team.
I mean, and it's like right around the corner, you know, compared to stuff we've had from
all over
across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Their stuff really, I mean, stands out. Absolutely.
Dope. So where does that drive come from on the day to day? You have a lot of responsibility. What do you enjoy most? You know, going to work every day and running Cocoa Tree.
My motivation is the need to pay the rent.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about being there is hanging with my staff and the creativity. I love just playing. I mean, I told my husband that if I'm going to do this, I want to be able to sit in the back and play with chocolate. I want to turn up my tunes and be in the back and just play with I don't want to deal with accounting. I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with the numbers. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with anything except. Yeah, I just want to be in the back, turn up you turn up the music and you just get in that zone and you want to just do the thing that you love to do. And you don't want to deal with the politics and you don't want to have to deal with the vendors and the price adjustments and you know, oh my God, the accounting and the you don't want to deal with any of that minutia.
Right.
You want to play. You want to do what it is that you got into this business to do. Yeah.
It's the dream.
Yeah. And that's all it was. And thank God my husband's an accountant. So he does it. Yeah. Yeah. So he handles all of that. And if you hire the right people to deal with the minutia, you know, you can do the good stuff. You can play. But yeah, I mean, my motivation is I got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Somehow, you know, the staff's got to get their checks.
Right. So tell us a little bit about where you're located for the viewers and listeners who don't know.
We're in Mequon. And for anyone who is familiar with Mequon, there's a Panera on the corner of Port Washington and Mequon Road. And we are in that same, we don't call it a strip mall, we call it a shopping center.
Shopping center.
Yeah, it's a shopping center. And so we're located right next to the Panera in that shopping center. And we've been there. Actually, we celebrated our 4-year anniversary on March 1st.
Oh, congratulations.
So, yes, thank
Happy
you.
Anniversary.
Yeah, I got the keys to that door 2 weeks before COVID.
Oh.
Wow.
So that was exciting. Well, you know, here's the thing, though. You know, I got those keys on March 1st, and 2 weeks later, COVID hit. But that property used to be a Papa Murphy's Pizza. So when I got those keys, that place just reeked of garlic.
Right.
So that extra time was actually a boon because I had to get that smell of garlic out of there.
Yeah.
And all of my equipment, I mean, I'm not kidding. It had a walk-in refrigerator that just, I mean,
It needed to be
Oh.
just
Garlic.
need to be clean.
Yeah. And I had to get all of that out of there. So it took a few coats of paint,
Mm-hmm.
and all of my equipment came from Europe, all my cases and my tempering machines all came from Europe, and nothing was coming from Europe.
Right.
So it bought me that time that I needed. But
Mhm.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It was,
Yeah.
No,
was not easy.
It wasn't in a plan, but it worked out.
Right.
Everybody,
Right.
the word pivot was used a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
It was
is.
used. Yeah. Yeah, you and I use that word.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna come back and hear from Justin at Ardent.
Yes.
What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor?
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Black history is something to appreciate, celebrate, and participate. Play Ode is a mobile app that streams America's best Black-owned radio stations and podcasts from across the country. ODE stands for Our Digital Entertainment. Play Ode features music and entertainment for us and by us. Listen to WNOV The Voice Milwaukee on the Play Ode app. Elevate your radio listening and participate in supporting Black radio. Download PLAYODE or log on to odeaudio.com for info and insights.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. Offers all-day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kick back with R&B karaoke Thursday beginning at 7 p.m. followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
The Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship presents its third annual Big Head Soiree, Thursday, May 16th at the Marcus Performing Arts Center in the Bradley Pavilion. I'm Andrea Williams, and I'll be your host for this spectacular event. It's designed to salute the co-founder, Miss Radonna Rogers, as she loved to wear big hats, and this is one way we honor her. We will also celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of Milwaukee's leaders in entrepreneurial ventures.
CTE was founded with the mission in mind to help young people understand business, financial literacy, and themselves, and how they can find their way into the marketplace and be productive citizens. We have found a great way to educate, stimulate, and advance what we're doing within this community.
So ladies, this is the time to wear your big hat, and guys, your stylish fedora. You will be treated to a delectable dinner and the sounds of Soul Sirius starting at 5:30. The program will begin at 7 with more entertainment and the awards program. Tickets are just $75. Go to Eventbrite using BHS 24 or call 414-788-8104. That's 414-788-8104. This event will kick off the spring season, so don't miss it.
Increase in taxes while families are paying more for everything from gas to groceries is wrong. Milwaukee voters should oppose increase in property taxes by nearly 30% in order to provide increased funding yet again to Milwaukee Public Schools. They've already wasted nearly $1 billion in new taxpayer funding, and now they want more? They don't even have a plan on how they'll spend it. Enough is enough. Milwaukee voters should just say no.
Paid for by Enough is Enough. Vote no. WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we're back. We've been back.
We never left.
So if you just tuning in to Flavor Fix, we were talking to Chef Kashori over at Cocoa Tree Confectionery that's located in Mequon. And now we're going to learn a little bit more about Justin Carlisle, who is the chef and owner of Ardent on the East Side, and all about what he's been up to this winter and what is coming up and how you got started and all the good things in
All
between.
the good things. All the good things.
Yep.
How I got started. I mean, I'm from a small farming community in Wisconsin,
Okay.
Sparta, Wisconsin, up by La Crosse.
I've heard of it.
So grew up on a beef farm, kind of grew up in the agriculture world. Started, as we talked earlier, I'm in the restaurants, dishwashers, that kind of stuff at 14.
Okay.
Graduated high school, decided I probably needed to get straightened out a little bit, so I went in the military for a little while. And then came back to cooking in restaurants when I got out of the military.
Okay. How long were you in the military?
What's that?
How long were you in service?
We did active for the first couple of years, and then I moved to guards and inactive.
Okay.
So I was total 6 years.
Okay. Nice.
I kind of got into the restaurant world because my middle brother, I'm the youngest of 3, is also a chef.
Okay.
So as we're growing up, we got along quite well. So it's kind of hey, I'll get you a job while we go hang out.
There you go.
So I kind of followed him down to, he's been in the casino world for a long time. At that point, he was in Biloxi, Mississippi. Followed him down there in New Orleans, and that's kind of where I started out. Traveled about the first almost 5-7 years of my cooking career, mostly East Coast, never went west. So it was down in that area, spent time at a resort called the Greenbrier in West Virginia, and then New York and Chicago.
What was your favorite on the East Coast?
Probably New York. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it was definitely,
Obviously.
New York was taxing, you know. I moved to
yeah.
Chicago because it was almost too much for me. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I decided to move to Chicago. But it was definitely different than growing up in a town of under 10,000 people in rural farm Wisconsin, you know.
Right.
But very learning. And I learned a lot through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say, you know, the transitions of starting out in the corporate world and kind of hitting that large, luxurious hotel operations was completely different than moving back into the personal restaurant scale.
Okay.
But I think that's where I learned the most. It was a master chef called Peter Timmons that was there, and he really kind of took a lot of us under his wing, taught us the right way to do things and properly without being, you know, he wasn't a mean person about it either.
Right.
There's mean people at the resort, yes, but he was not a mean person. He was very straightforward, very wonderful. So I think that's kind of where it started. That it started sinking in and making sense for me a little bit. But I also enjoyed the profession just because it's addictive. It's adrenaline rush. You are achieving things that, you know, in the world of growing up that you're never going to achieve them again because you don't duplicate one day to the next day, and everything that you make can't be repeated. And the times that you guys hang out and eat, you don't get that time again. It's just not a replayable thing. So kind of transitioning and learning at that point the importance of food in all aspects, whether it's going to be, you know, out in the world, and the importance of food, obviously nourishment wise, but then the importance of food that you can have on an experience wise, and how it can affect human people and how it can affect, you know, the world.
Right.
So those kind of transitions as I grew up, per se, instead of being a punk kid and then growing up and trying to be a little more of a respectable person in life, you know, was a lot of it, and just the camaraderie and the people that I've met through the travels. But, you know, my family was the same way. So it got, you know, about 7 years of traveling and cooking at those times. And it was, you know, our age group, it's a little bit different than the world is now. You traveled to get things on your resume in our world, because a lot of times your resume and the people that you cooked for were more important to leads to other jobs because there was things not called the internet at that time. So if we wanted to go and move to Boston to get in a restaurant, somebody had to know somebody else, not via Messenger or anything else, because it wasn't like they knew who we were in Boston.
Right.
So it was a lot of making our connections in our community, which ends up being quite a small community in the world. I'm glad that I went through that period and learned that period. You know, I have friends all over. I'm fortunate enough to be able to travel or have people to talk to about what's happening in the world and trends and however else you want to look at it. Through, 2 to 3 decades of friendships that we had when we were 22 years old and next to each other on the line, and we didn't see each other but each other for our lifetime, so I think a lot of those helped get me started and fold into that. Rolling into whether I was working for somebody else, it was transitioning probably 2005 period to management and then starting running restaurants for other people. I moved from Chicago to Madison. I went to culinary school in Madison at that point because my mother also said, I don't care what you do. You don't have to get it in culinary school. You have to get a degree. I don't care what. Doesn't matter. You just have to go get a piece of paper. And at that point, I was quite burned out moving and doing that grind for a while. And on the opposite end, we're starting to transition to a point of our era of where degrees were started to be important in the culinary world. There's many, but if something doesn't work out, especially for us in the independent world, now I want to go to corporate world, I'm going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to need something, be able to make those transitions to obviously be able to look at, not experience is going to be helpful, but not everything.
Right.
So fortunate enough to do that time period. That was 2005, 2004.
Okay.
Stayed in Madison for a while, went back to Chicago, did about 2 years in Chicago before I moved here in 2013. But I was working for the Surge Group then.
Yep.
They got me out of Chicago and moved here. And
nice.
Oddly enough, growing in Wisconsin, I think I only spent 3 days of my life in Milwaukee before I ever moved here. So it was kind of let's test it out. If not,
right.
I was used to traveling at that point. But still here. I love it here. It's wonderful. And then moving in after the time period working there, I'm hitting my early to mid 30s, and it's maybe time to figure out if I'm going to do my own or not do my own. Because maybe it was just me, but I feel like that time period of life is a changing time period when you kind of get to mid 30s and you're like, all right, what am I really good? Like, what am I going to do for the next 20 years of my life, or however you want to look at it? Am I going to do it for somebody else, or am I going to try this out? Before I get too old. So we did. I was fortunate enough, and we did it on shoestrings between my parents and myself, and opened up Ardent in October of 13. So we just celebrated 10 years.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And for us, we opened up, and it would, to go back and maybe think about, what sets you apart or what sets you different or not, was when we opened up, we were the first tasting menu only restaurant ever to open in the state. So the history of the state. And then those types of things. So we wanted, for me especially, there's things of traveling that we did, and there's things in larger cities that we enjoy. And a lot of times in smaller cities, it's hard to get those. I think there was a time period where a lot of people in my era of cooking and growing up in the world of cooking started leaving Chicago and New York and the large cities and going to medium-sized cities that they grew up close to or in, like Cincinnati and St. Louis and Detroit and, all of these other cities that are 1 million people or 500,000 people of that era,
right? But
don't really have any of the other dynamics of dining or those types of venues.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us, I know friends in St. Louis, Gerard, and a lot of those guys in Nashville that started then too. So I think that was a lot of part of it. But for me, that there wasn't that here in Wisconsin, and there wasn't that here in Milwaukee. And we're only an hour and a half away from Chicago. We're only an hour away from Madison, but we don't have those dining dynamics.
Right, right.
and doing it at a small scale, it's the same thing that you said earlier. Is what our belief is that, a lot of the larger restaurants obviously need to have a lot of people to survive. So at some point, smaller restaurants might struggle a little bit more than larger restaurants, depending on how the navigation of clientele works.
Right.
And so the way I looked at it is Arden's 20 seats. It's 900 square feet. My 20 seats is not going to take away anything from anybody.
Yeah.
So now we can just all split up small pieces of the pie in the community to give ourselves a better dining community. The more restaurants that we have, the city becomes better.
I really appreciate the way you think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but even in the neighborhoods, even from Mech 1 all the way downtown, if there's those things, well, now how do you want to say it? The dollars that are going into each neighborhood is going to be spread out better than everything's consolidated in one area where all of a sudden individuals like us can't afford to have rent there.
Right.
Yeah.
But so now you are, moving your options not to be equal in equal areas.
Yeah.
And it was definitely when the streetcar was going through, so everybody was in uproar then, and all these. So it was an easy time to open something like Arden and at least take a chance. And the investment in it was less than a house. So the worst thing that's going to happen is my friends were losing houses at that time anyway. Like, hey, I'm going to be out of house. So, but it's been navigating every year, trying to figure out how to say that. And I think that we're navigating to a point now, and especially out of COVID, it's been, for everybody. There is no steady lines anymore for any business or any person.
Right.
My restaurant doesn't run the same as her business, doesn't run the same as somebody else's restaurant.
Right.
It just doesn't. And it's hard to communicate because now everybody is just literally in their own small little bubbles a lot, trying to navigate their life, like their daily, their life, their everything else, and it's hard to help others on that side too, or communicate. A lot of us are going through the same things, but what we say doesn't help your business. We all understand it, but it's not like, you should do this, this works. And it's like, well, it might work for you, but it doesn't work for me.
And you never know, but I think it's important to share,
It is.
Absolutely.
It is, because otherwise it's like
help the next person.
Exactly. Or, the same discussion, and we'll get into it, but after December, which over the 10 years that we were open was the slowest holiday season December we've had in 10 years. Not that it was the worst day of the year or anything without him, but we had projections and everything that you go through, and it was significantly under. So for us transitioning out of closing ramen earlier that year to focus back on Ardent, we want to focus back on Ardent. You'll see when we reopen up that, for us, 10 years of the passion project is wonderful, but the passion project doesn't really get you too far in life. So after that, the passion project kind of slows down, and now, we need to be more accessible. We need to be a little bit more for everybody and more for the community. We were our small little pocket that people could travel to and help the dining scene, but now we need to open up the doors a little bit more and make sure that we're more accessible to everybody in the dining scene that want to come out.
Speaking of open up the doors, you all brought in a caller.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a caller.
Lord have mercy.
Caller on the line.
Well, good afternoon to all. Good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon. Good evening.
And a wonderful season of resurrection and Easter and Good Friday and all to all. Ramadan Mubarak to those who endure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyrone W. speaking. Good afternoon, Milwaukee. And all the guests. Thanks for sharing with me and taking my call and doing all that you all do. I just wanted to, good afternoon to Mr. Devo. He was I was trying to get through for a while there, but it's all good though. I love chocolate. I love to eat. Nobody loves to eat no more than me. But, chocolate and different things can't be an all-day thing because you will throw your equilibrium off balance with your dehydration and your sugar and all those different things there. especially like the young lady was talking about her daughter and the cakes and all. I mean, man, some cookies and some brownies and some milk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's, especially over a good, football season's over, but you got the tournaments coming up, so basketball games and the Olympics in France over the summer. So there's going to be plenty of stuff consumed,
Yeah.
But
I would agree.
Right.
But, I mean, myself, my pies, like my fruit-filled pies with natural sweetness, like your apple, your cherry, blueberry, different things like that, pecan, lemon meringue. Those are natural sweeteners,
Yeah.
Because we have to let our children know that sugar is the lead way to, or the gateway and pretty much the spiral to diabetes. And so, not to rain on anyone's parade as far as making money, but and that goes for the that goes for the dental aspect of it too. You got to take care of those. The only part of your skeleton you can see while you're living there.
Yeah, definitely got to be health conscious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, got to
Yeah.
be conscious
A
of it.
lot of people didn't know that, but yeah, that's part of your bone structure there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you so
Agreed.
much for calling and
But
sharing
I'm not
that.
done yet, though. Hold on. But yeah, I'll finish up with this though. But yeah, the reason I do that is I substitute a lot with honey and maple syrup for. I maybe have a handful of sugar around, but for my sweeteners
great.
around here, I will use maple syrup or honey.
Agave.
And I do that because of how Haiti has been mistreated
I use agave.
Yeah.
over the
Easily.
years there,
Mm-hmm.
and the splendor and all that stuff, it tastes nasty to me. I don't even bother that. But yeah, so I get Haiti right, and I mean those people pull that sugar cane there for 3 pennies on the dollar, and they got to get that straightened out down there. So
No, I appreciate
That's
that
right.
you're.
there's a lot to
you're
be
Thank
done.
you
But
for
thank
sharing
you,
that.
thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah,
Be blessed.
absolutely.
Diva.
Alrighty then.
Woo.
You know what? It's important to be socially conscious.
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
yeah.
Yes.
Agree.
I'm sure all of.
Yeah.
Yep. We're done here.
Well, no, I mean, he makes a very valid point though, that and it is important to be conscious about your health and socially conscious as well, and
Agree.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Oh,
Well, it does.
yeah,
It does. I mean,
Mhm.
diabetes. Yeah. I mean, it's
Poquito.
it is
Yeah, he just had something
processed through the pancreas. Sugar is
Yeah.
processed through the pancreas.
It's all
and
good.
You know what? But I can get hit by a car too. But, and
Okay.
it could be carrying insulin, but it's not the point.
Right.
Neither here nor there.
But I digress.
Yeah, right.
Back to Justin.
So we were.
Right.
I think Justin was at the transition out of
Oh,
red light.
Yeah,
ramen?
red light. So we
Yes.
closed red light last year, beginning of summer. It was just a transition coming out of when things changed and we went into grocery stores, got out of the grocery stores as the grocery stores got more employees back, those types of items, and now the ready-made foods came out. And then we just start looking between the way that money gets spent now, and the money wasn't there after as it was before, between costs and things of going up, and we all know the story. I don't need to go into it, but
Right.
so when those lines started making sense, so we decided to expand Ardent and try to work towards being more accessible, where we can do one side where we've been for the last 10 years as more of a lounge and a bar and a la carte and open to the no need reservations, anything else, go pre-theater, do whatever you want. And then turning the ramen side, which is smaller side, into the tasting room and doing smaller events there, and then doing what we've been doing for 10 years there, but at a more smaller, intimate level.
Right now, your tasting room is very small.
4 tables, 2 bar seats.
Yes, and that's how
Yep.
how many people? 8, 10.
Yeah, I think we can max out. I mean, if we do 2 4 tops, then you max out, like 12 or 14 people.
Oh, okay, 12,
Yeah.
14,
Somewhere
around there.
Yeah, all depends how the reservations come in. But then we'll just do that minimal days. But that way we could at least now be more accessible with people at the lounge.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
And so for your tasting menu, that's reservation only.
Yep.
And how many courses is it?
We all said and done with the little bites and snacks in the beginning. At the end, we're right around 14 to 17 bites.
Okay.
Nice.
So we do roughly, depending on the sizes, 8 to 10 larger portions in the middle.
Okay.
And then 3 to 4 snacks, savory then sweet at the end.
And what's the price point for your tasting menu?
$155 for food.
Okay. And then the bars.
And then
you have pairings, wine pairings.
Yep, you can do wine pairings. It'd be $125 for wine pairings.
Okay.
That's literally 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces per course. So you're gonna have 9 different beverages that goes along with it.
Yes.
Otherwise you can do a la carte beverages.
Nice.
No,
and it's just you, right? Do you have a
partner or
business
anything?
partner or anything?
I don't have any business partners. I've been fortunate enough to have wonderful people that's come along with me. Through the closure, we'll see who we retain out of it when it comes back. The team that we had up until the closure was outstanding. I have, Russell Tinsey is a brother of mine, and he was with me for many years. We all grow, and Maggie and everybody else that were with us. But it definitely comes down to the lines of business is wonderful, and we do whatever we can, but not all businesses can, within 6 months, we can sustain a structure of this to we can't sustain a structure of this, and now we need to adapt and do that again.
Right.
So a lot of the closure was that coming out of December, notoriously the first quarter in any hospitality business, you're not really going to make bank on it. It's a struggle, outside of Valentine's Day, and depending what you are.
In my field.
And we usually do well into January, but and I'm a broken record when I said it early, but I always structure it from Valentine's Day to tax day. There's not a lot of income coming in. So on my thought is more rolling the dice and trying to see how this goes. I know my fixed cost of what I would need if I'm not open day to day during that time.
Right.
So now I can travel to do events more, go to other cities and cook more, do private events at the restaurants when we didn't really do private events a lot before. Do pop-ups like we do fish fry now. We never did fish fry, and a lot more casual things. And also ardent tasting menu. We would travel. I was just in Green Bay this weekend for ardent, and it was a whole structure where we did the lounge in the front part of the gentleman's restaurant, and then he had a kitchen bar, and we did the tasting menu there. So we ran it just like ardent.
That's awesome.
Up in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So now, for me to sit first quarter and stress and pinch it along and maybe not have a busy restaurant and maybe have to cut staff, there was the hard decision I had in the discussion with the staff that this is what needs to happen right now, and this is why.
Right.
Yeah.
We could roll the dice that we would never come back in May if we don't do this now.
Right.
So, but then on the opposite end, now we can be more accessible in the sense, but not only in Milwaukee, I can go to Green Bay and go to Madison and go to other places. Instead of we would do travel to do food events in other cities, now I can stay close to Milwaukee and travel and be more accessible to the area instead of not.
Right.
I love it.
So, and as long as, and it, by all means, it's not testing it out this year is not an easy thing. By all means,
I'm sure.
It's not, but it's also something to do because, as we discussed, there's no more direct lines of how to run anything in our industry. It might work for me, but I'm not going to say that, everybody should close the first quarter because you don't make any money. It's like, no, if it works and you can do it, then you should. Everybody's business is different.
Yeah, everyone has their lane and their niche. And
through 10 years, let's reorganize, let's restructure. It never stops.
Yeah, and I think that's a good mark.
Right.
Let's look at what we can do differently at 10 years, No,
exactly. And for us to start it, and it was slower, well, I don't think that we would get our accessibility or our point across and our hospitality across if we're struggling to make it for a couple of months when we can just stop, reanalyze it, see what was working or what wasn't working, and redevelop,
come back stronger,
and then come back when the demand is there or not, but come back the proper way.
Right. And what are your current hours right now?
I mean, right now we are
you're
closed outside of we do Friday night fish fry, and then we do events whenever people are doing events.
Yeah, we had a fun dinner.
We did
Last month.
Very
when
fun.
did I do that? That was last month.
Okay, wait, I wasn't invited to this.
Yes.
You're going to get invited.
I mean, I wasn't invited either. It was very fun, but it was a
Mhm.
lot of those things that we're trying to do now, and we're also opening up both spaces at Ardent to one of my sous chefs that is there is now she's doing a restaurant pop-up that she's always wanted to, and she does it every Sunday night
That's awesome.
At Ardent.
But now,
That's
for a
great.
lot of times after 10 years, I always said that I wanted to give the restaurant to somebody so they didn't have to go through what I went through.
That's beautiful.
Well, unfortunately, I financially can't give it to anybody.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
but now, if she can come in and do that, there's no just make sure that we're at zero. Cover your costs or whatever.
Right,
else.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fund you on this side.
Right.
But now you have a space, and now we want to do that. We have another gentleman that we're talking to this week that used to be a bartender for us, and now he's opening up his own bar and lounge. But he's not open till June.
Okay.
So why don't you come in and have staff or not and start opening it up a day a week, 2 days a week?
That kind of mentorship, though.
And do it
I
here
love
because
it.
now
That's
you
rare.
It
can
is rare.
you
It
can
is rare.
practice, you can utilize it here. And again, it's like as long as things are covered, then we're okay. So it's more trying to get into that, and you can say it's into the community or not, but it's more accessible that we both know that it's not that easy to open a restaurant. It's not easy
Right.
to open a business.
Right.
And there was not a lot of people back in my time that would have given much.
Yeah.
They usually didn't want you to open. To me, more the merrier. So
Yeah.
if we can have a space that
Yeah.
can be utilized for that, then it should be utilized.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. I
That's
I
amazing.
appreciate, how you are just transforming, the business and the mentorship, like Kishori said.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. We'll be right back on Flavor Fix, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I always want to say 107.5. It's Chicago. It's hard because I lived there for almost 7 years.
Now we're going to get another call.
Right.
Don't you know where you are?
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind and hang out with your friends? Well, come visit Brownstone Social Lounge, located at 524 North Water Street, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge. For good vibes, great music, and delicious food, be sure to try our amazing wings and drink specials during our all-day happy hour on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And that's not all. You can also enjoy happy hour from Thursday to Sunday from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. For more information, please call 414-204-0103. Brownstone Social Lounge. Hello, Milwaukee. I'm Mr. Debo, the program director here at the all-new 860 WNOV. On January 8th of this year, WNOV underwent a relaunch, complete with a fresh logo, branding, format, and new shows. Now you can even stream our talk shows on YouTube and Facebook. We're always striving to enhance your listening experience. And now your watching experience too. As we continue to work on improving, there may be more changes in our lineup. Here's a few of the changes we've made. We've added Sandra Silk and All That Jazz on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Chris Heavy Levy on Saturdays with Saturday Backtracks and more. Flavor Fix with foodie Samantha Starr. How about Pillow Talk with me, Mr. Debo? On the Porch with Quad with Quabanon Anton Nixon. The Difference with Will Martin. Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, Dr. Kwaku and Naumbo Mpindo. Money Talks with attorney Carl Plez. Brought to you by Columbia Savings and Loan. The Friday Night Jukebox Party with DJ Kevin Buchanan, St. Mark's Lutheran Church with Pastor Marty from 9 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Community Outreach Clinics, Community Heartbeat with more to come. But rest assured, of course, we have our staple shows that have not changed and will not change. Say Something Real with Michelle Bryant, Community Voice with Keith Paris, International Roots Rock Reggae Meltdown with Ross Joel, The Blues Cafe with me, Mr. Debo, Reverend Al Sharpton from 12 until 3. We're listening to you, and we'll get it right together. And thank you for listening to the all-new 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM, The Voice.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we're back on Flavor Fix with Samantha Starr, and I have Miss Kishori here from Cocoa Tree Confectionery and Justin Carlisle of Ardent. How y'all doing? Woo-hoo. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to everyone who's listening on the radio or on YouTube, or if you're following us on Facebook Live. We love it. Thanks for the love. We're going to transition a little bit into some of the fun stuff.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I thought we already had fun stuff.
Yeah, that was
fun,
stuff.
Fun this whole time.
It's
so
all
I'm
fun.
not
It's
sure.
all fun. So I want to learn a little bit more about your experiences and the areas that you've been in, travels, and how that connects with your brand and food and, you know, the thought process that goes into, you know, preparing your menu, putting your flavors together and all the good things. So for someone who doesn't know, how would you describe your brand?
The hard part was when we first opened was that for sure. 10 years ago, oh, you're going to open a restaurant. What are you going to open up?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, it's personal. And they're like, what do you mean? It's not French. It's not Italian. It's not Chinese. It's not Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't have to be that sort of label. It's named what it is, Ardent, for the way that we feel about life and do it. So logistically, this is going to be a very personal restaurant. I'm going to serve my food for once. I want to serve. So that was kind of hard, but then it would just working to people start to understand it more on the intimate level, more, you know, how we were sustainable and all those types of items. But yeah, oddly enough, I would say that it was more of a personal brand starting per se brand. And it took me a long time to call my restaurant a brand.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree.
Super long time.
Okay. That. You got anything, Kishori?
You know, the name Cocoa Tree Confectionery, to me, it doesn't really feel like a brand. I mean, it's a name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a name. I think I can't say that it represents me. I mean, Ardent, I see Ardent. Yeah, there's a meaning
Sure, and
behind
there was
it.
more discussions and
There's a feeling behind it.
My friends were there with me when we decided on the name, and they picked it out for the most part of it. And it was, but it to me, I never wanted anything of the restaurant to come back to me.
Mm.
So however the name was or anything that they couldn't name wise or not, it could not be, because the owner or not, I'm not the one cooking everything every night.
Right.
I'm not the one serving everything every night. I'm not the one. There's way more than just me doing it. So
I see what you're saying. Okay.
There's 9 people working there, 6 to 9 people working there at a night of service.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So why would I be like, oh, come to Justin's?
Right. Okay.
You know,
I see what you're saying.
You know, and everybody feels that same way about,
I agree.
about hospitality. You know, it's not just a restaurant. You know, we wanted to make sure that we kind of brought hospitality back. I feel that it was getting lost in translation of life for a long time of our industry.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, for that aspect was more of it. And then as we move forward, we understood that we made the brand in the sense, because then when we opened up the Laughing Taco and Red Light Ramen, we always had it by Ardent.
Yep.
So we'd always, in small on the bottom of it, include, and it was this by Ardent, this by Ardent.
Mm-hmm.
So that everything was the same philosophies, whether we were a fast food taco shop or a casual ramen shop,
Right.
or an exclusive fine dining tasting menu restaurant. Still the same philosophies, still the same training, still the same hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily feel, and I think this is kind of what you're getting at. My name, my actual name, Kishori, doesn't need to be on the door.
Mm-hmm.
But my name is on the door. My reputation is in everything that I do. My name, my physical name does not have to be on the door. But I hold myself responsible for everything, everything that goes out that door.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold dear everything here. So yeah, my name's on the door.
Mm-hmm.
And the restaurant doesn't have to be named after me. The name of the restaurant the name of my shop is secondary. It really isn't important. What comes out of there, what walks out the door, that's more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what defines the place. It's not, to me, it's not the name.
I do want to understand a little bit about Cocoa Tree, though. Where'd that come from, or how'd you land on that?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. It just came to me one day in the morning. I'm like, Cocoa Tree Confectionery.
Like yeah,
Cocoa Tree Confectionery.
It goes.
That's really yeah. It was
easy enough,
kind of melodic. Yeah, I mean, really, it was as simple as that.
I wake up with a lot of inspiration. It's maybe something hits us in our dreams, and something
actually, yeah. I
it
mean,
happens.
You know, we're coming up with a gelato flavor this summer that actually is going to have sponge sugar, and we're naming it Taylor Swift's hair.
Oh,
nice.
There you go.
There you go. You just dropped the bomb.
Just
let it out.
Just drop the bomb.
Things come to you, you know.
Tell me a little bit about both of you all are in unique locations.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your experiences. You over on the east side and you in Mequon. What has that experience been like throughout your duration of being there?
For me, actually, there was a chocolate shop in Mequon, and it had closed about 3 years before I opened.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent like the first 2 years after being open with people saying, yeah, we stopped at that other place, but they were closed.
Mm.
And so that, you know, and what happened to her?
Right. I don't know.
I mean, I did know.
Right,
what
yeah.
happened, but,
yeah.
Kind of none of your business what happened to her.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily a bad story, but regardless, I had to compete with that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to compete with her and what she had and who she was, and so I was fighting up against that. But you know, I am the only chocolate shop now in Mequon, and I am the only gelato shop, probably within 10-mile radius.
Okay.
So, which is
a plus.
Great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, on the downside, there are several chocolate shops in Cedarburg and Grafton, and a couple of very notable ones.
Right.
So, you know, I'm up against that,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's been a little tough in that sense. But you know, I mean, I think we're holding our own.
Yeah.
You know, there are very few who do hand painted chocolate like we do.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we kind of stand out in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes I still feel like I'm fighting the ghost of the other chocolate shop that used to be in Mequon, because I still do every now and then have people come in and go, "Hey, where's that other place that used to be here?"
Oh wow.
She moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah.
She's not.
I'm sure you get a lot of passerbys in the shopping center, or
yeah, who come, you know, from Panera, and they go, "Oh, we didn't know you were here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were just walking by." And it's like, "Yeah, come on in," you know.
Right.
Or they're waiting for their takeout from the Vietnamese noodle place,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, "Hey, yeah,
Got to get dessert."
Right.
You know, you got to have something to eat. Come on in, you know." And so they have a sample. Very rarely will someone come in and have a sample and not buy something. So.
Right.
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. So speaking of which,
Yeah. Show us
what do you
a
got?
little bit here. You got
So-
brought so much.
yeah. So these are we have 12 flavors that we have in the shop all the time,
Okay.
and so these are they.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh, he got it. Okay.
So yeah, so these are the 12 flavors we have all the time. And Sam, I know you're not a huge chocolate person, but I know you've had our white chocolate.
I've
You've
had
had
the
our
white
passion fruit and the lime.
Can't have the regular chocolate.
I know. So do you want one of the passion fruit or the lime?
No,
Right now?
I'm good.
No, you're good. What? They're the bonbons? So these are the difference. A lot of people say truffles, and there's a difference between a bonbon and a truffle. And when people ask me, I always say, yeah, it's about $15,000 in French education. Being trained by a French chef, that's the difference. But no, actually, bonbons have a molded shell, whereas truffles are usually hand rolled, so they're more abstract.
Okay.
That's the easy definition, the easy difference. But yeah, so these are the 12 flavors that we have all the time. So, help yourself. We've got a little, legend here that tells you what each one is. So you can kind of choose. We've got black cherry, coffee, salted caramel, key lime, Tanzania, which is our dark chocolate. So that's dark on the outside, dark on the
Roll
inside.
the dice, man.
Mint melt away, pure milk chocolate, raspberry, passion fruit, peanut butter, salted caramel, or I'm sorry, coconut, hazelnut, and then I didn't bring the teeny turtles, but we have teeny turtles.
It's
in milk
good.
and dark.
Oh,
he's scared. He's all
Devo
scared.
went
He's
for
like,
it.
Yeah,
no.
Devo's like, no, just give me that tray.
Which one did you? Oh, I'm sure you don't know.
I'm good.
See, and I've always my theory has always been that if you bite into it and you can't tell what it is, then I've failed. And I get where some people, if you bite into it and you can't, you should be able to tell me at least if you bite into it and if you can't tell whether it's like cherry or strawberry or raspberry, okay, that
Is it a berry?
Yeah, right. But if you bite into it and go, it's orange, well, yeah, then we have a problem.
Right.
You have a key lime, right?
I do
Yeah.
have a key lime, yes.
Yeah.
But
That's the purple one.
Color have any indication?
Color, yeah. Color should give you a little hint. I mean, obviously the blue one is not blueberry,
Right.
In this case, it's not.
Okay.
And
I think my palate mature
you had the red one?
What'd you get?
What do you think,
A
Carly?
berry?
Okay, well, when it all blended together,
Mm.
it's good.
Mhm.
But I'm not a candy guy. So
Well, that's black cherry.
Black
it's,
cherry.
It's good. It's good.
See, and and I don't like to tell people what
Yeah.
things taste like. I
No.
like them to kind of.
So, Devo, what do you think about the texture? Awesome. Was it a crunch to it or just smooth?
It's an experience. What happens is it's got
I love
kinda,
it.
it's not hard coating, but it's firm. You bite into it, it kind of explodes in your mouth.
Mm.
Then you get a hint of this. Then there's seems to be like a caramel or something that takes over the flavoring. Then the flavor of the berry or whatever it is comes back. So it's a whole experience.
Mm.
So
I love it.
I mean, he's not going to tell me it's terrible when I'm sitting right here.
I would.
Like,
I would.
Yeah,
I would.
Devo would.
It's an
He might be a little more diplomatic about it. but-
It's
oh
an
no, he
experience.
just cut off a collar.
What you have? Do you know or what?
Passion fruit.
Okay. Okay.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Mhm.
So, well, thank you.
Great texture, yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, so
we,
I think
we probably got to carve you the milk chocolate Easter bunny.
Yeah, like I said, that, like he said, that's the experience.
Yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think it's I had some fun. I had some trial and error with the
Mhm.
recipes, but yeah, we kind of established the 12 standard ones, and then we have a couple that
Right.
every month we have something different.
Sure,
Right now we have
seasonal or however
yeah.
you wanna
Right
look
now
at
we
it.
have like lavender lemonade.
Okay.
That's our seasonal for right now. So try and change it up every now and then.
Getting ready for nice weather.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Do
Yeah.
you do like specialty stuff during like Valentine's, Sweetest Day? Do you feature the holidays at all those kinds of chocolatey holidays, if you will?
Yeah, actually, Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Christmas and Halloween. Those are like our biggest
ones.
holidays. Yeah.
Mm.
So, you know, in the fall we do like apple crisp, and during Valentine's Day we have rose. We do like a rose water type flavor. What else we've done? You know, we have something special during every holiday. Really. So we try and match it. You know, like during Easter we'll have fish fry flavored chocolate.
Oh my gosh. I was like,
I actually
really?
remember that.
I was like, collaboration.
Turkey and gravy. No, we'll do like cranberry during Thanksgiving. We'll have like a cranberry chocolate.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, eggnog type. You know, like an eggnog flavor.
Okay,
maybe. We tried a champagne during in the champagne chocolate.
It's hard, right?
It is. It is. Doing any sort of alcohol with chocolate is really kind of right now. Actually, for St. Patrick's Day, we have what we call our Blarney box, and that has a Guinness and dark chocolate. It has Bailey's with milk chocolate, and Irish whiskey and honey, not sugar, but honey.
Wait till you.
I know. Irish whiskey
Wait till
and
you
honey.
get that call tomorrow, bro.
I know. And mint. So it's a box of 4, but and that's our Blarney box. So you know we even do something for St. Patrick's Day. So
yeah.
And we have a pumpkin ganache that we do during Halloween.
Okay.
So, yeah, we try and change it.
Well, tell us what you brought today for Easter.
Yeah, for Easter we have this nice little egg crate. This crate of eggs here.
Cute.
And yeah, these are white chocolate. We also have them in dark chocolate, but these have either M&Ms inside or Jelly Bellies. And so you can just crack them like an egg, and you know, and the candy comes out.
Carvey, did you get that zoomed in?
Dude, get on the good foot here. Pay attention. Yeah. So these are eggs, and then we have the smash egg. This is the most fun.
I wish we can smash it, but
we
it's
could.
too messy.
Too messy. You're right.
We might have to go out. And
so this is the giant egg, and it comes with a mallet, and you can smash it. And again, same thing. There's either M&Ms or Jelly Bellies inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long does it take to make that one?
It depends who's making it. For me, it would take maybe 20 minutes.
Okay.
The teenagers probably about 3 days.
What?
And then we have
now the outer of that is a hard plastic, or is it edible?
It's
the whole thing is
all chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's crack that baby open.
Hey, that's up to you. You can.
You can crack it afterwards, aren't you? You're like, all right, you give me that.
Do what?
You ever had somebody that just bit right into it without the hammer?
You?
Not in front of me. Not in front of what they do when they take it out of my shop is not my business. Where they put it, what they do with it, no.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And then we have the your traditional Easter bunny. We have the little one and the big one. So these are solid.
Beautiful.
So
love them.
Just cute little Easter bunnies.
Yeah.
But one of the things that actually, it's not necessarily an Easter thing, but we're pretty proud of this one actually. This is we call this. When one of my teenagers, we named this our bot bar. It stands for bit of this, bit of that.
Okay.
And it's a combination. Actually, Valrhona makes fruit infused Couverture chocolate. So this has strawberry, raspberry, passion fruit, and yuzu fruit infused chocolate, and they are all vegan.
I think Justin wants to take that with him.
No, I know.
You absolutely can. But yeah, so it's vegan, and so
different flavor per bite.
Yeah, it really is.
Whole different experience.
Yeah, and if I back it with dairy-free chocolate, the entire bar is vegan. So it's nut-free, dairy-free.
What?
Gluten-free.
Y'all hear that, listeners?
Yeah.
Tyrone W should be really excited about that one.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
We do a lot of dairy-free, sugar-free, and we do. 90% of what I sell is gluten-free, and we do dairy-free, we do sugar-free. We do try and have a little something for everybody.
Right.
So
I love that.
But yeah, we're really proud of that bar because it tastes great. It's pretty.
I want to learn how it's put together.
Well,
that process.
It's made with mold, and we hand temper that chocolate. And I actually do teach classes. So,
really?
Yeah. I have 2 classes coming up, one in April and one in May, where we teach you how to temper
At
chocolate
your
at
shop,
home.
or do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, at
awesome.
my shop. We teach how to hand temper chocolate, so you could go home and do it, and we let you come back into the kitchen, and with the tempering machines, you get to actually use the molds, and then we teach you how to make a ganache, and you get to fill your molds with the ganache and cap them, and then you walk out of there with, God, I think it's like 3 dozen bonbons.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's always a lot of fun. And then,
Coin on that.
how much does it cost?
Yeah. How much?
$100 a person.
Okay.
$100.
Yeah. That's
Is it like a 1 hour, 2 hour?
It's a 2-hour class.
2 hour. Okay.
That's Chocolate 101. Chocolate 102 is a little more expensive, but with that one, you get to paint. You get to paint the molds, and then we talk about making gelées and caramel, and Jean Dujas.
I want to make caramel.
Caramel's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I make. That's the thing. We make everything.
Yeah.
I make my own peanut butter. I make my own, hazelnuts, Jean Dujas, all of it.
Yeah.
All my gelées. Yeah. We make everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I don't make, I am not bean to bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I use strictly Belgian chocolate.
Okay.
And I don't make my own chocolate.
Yeah.
But all the fillings, everything else, yes, I make it all.
So how long does it take to hand paint the bonbons?
This bar or the bonbons?
Yeah.
Each mold holds 32 bonbons. So in order to paint one mold, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can cast a mold. It takes 15 minutes to paint. You can cast one mold in under 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then filling it is what takes time. Piping it is what takes time. And then you have to let the ganache crystallize overnight, depending which ganache it is.
Right.
You have to let it crystallize overnight, cap it the next day. Yeah, so it's almost a 2-day process to make one tray of bonbons. So we do, depending on what flavor it is and how popular it is, and the demand at the time of year and so forth, we may do 2 or 3 or up to 15 trays at a time, molds at a time. Yeah, over Christmas.
No, yeah.
Yeah, over Christmas.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. We start Christmas production in August.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah. Where I'm doing something like caramel, where it's shelf stable, I'll do 30 molds of caramel a week.
Yep. Just for Christmas.
Yeah.
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 We'll have those started.
So is this a mix? It's a lot of handwork, machine mix, obviously.
Well, they're all hand painted.
Right.
And we actually cast them by hand as well. Using tempering machines.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we don't use depositing machines to do any of the casting. It's all done by hand.
So where does the self-care come in for the hands and keeping your hands not so rough and stiff and
it's a never-ending battle.
Locked up?
Never-ending battle.
How do you manage that? Is it just you deal with it type of thing? Yeah.
You deal with it. You suck it up.
Stress ball, do you roll? Do you do any exercises?
You spend a lot of time going like this.
No, yeah. Stretching your fingers. Stretching the fingers.
Yeah. Heated steering wheel.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. Heated steering wheel in the winter.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a small thing, but it's not.
No.
Really?
Your hands cramp up in cold.
Your hands cramp up. Having remote start on your car. It sounds like a prima donna thing, but it really isn't. When you're working until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's,
you
12, 15 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
Remote start.
Well, summer's coming up, and I know you both travel so much. Where have been some of the most unique places that you've catered, either in Wisconsin or beyond, or served people, or just had a great food or culinary experience?
For me,
many places, I'm sure, but
yeah, sure. As a recent for me, traveler culinary experience, my wife and I went to Spain in November for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So I spent 10 days there.
Nice.
And traveled most of it, kind of split it up into 3 days in Madrid, 3 days in San Sebastian, and 3 days in Barcelona. It was wonderful. Much needed. We haven't been traveling as of late. We do it very much, but it was nice to do that for me at least, had through business and a lot of things, you kind of lose track of sometimes of inspiration, or you kind of get stuck in your rut.
Right.
But those experiences start to spark that up again a lot. You know, and I always tell people, always travel, no matter what.
Yes.
Travel as much as possible.
Yes.
Craziest or weirdest place that I've cooked at, like 4 people? I don't know. We did a private events in Hotel California in Santa Monica. And it was kind of like a live band show, and Lumineers and all those people were there.
Nice.
And they would just show up with a bunch of friends. And
yeah,
it was me and 2 buddies that would just hang out and cook with them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't, London buddy has a restaurant called Kitchen Table. So a lot of times we'll do chef's dinners or not. And we used to at Arden a lot, like literally once a month, which was another wonderful way to educate and learn, because once you get your own business, it's not like you can go and stage, we would call it back in our younger days, but or go and travel and work at restaurants to learn from them, because you're running your own business. So that kind of time. So we utilized it for us, you know, the first almost 5 to 6 years we're open, that people I knew growing up or wanted to know or was inspired by them or loved what they were doing at the restaurant or not, but knowing that I couldn't fly or go to eat there.
Right.
Yeah.
So how can I learn from them that we're not making a lot of money off of, but if I can bring James from London and I get to go to London and we go vice versa, well, now we get to experience each other's restaurant, get to know each other better. So we've done a lot of that, and hopefully we'll bring that back again.
Yeah. Well, you, Kishori.
Well, working with chocolate doesn't really lend itself to, you know, traveling and actually doing it, you know, remotely.
Right.
But I think.
Have you shipped anywhere unique?
I mean, we ship all over the U.S.
Right.
So I can't really say that there's anywhere unique. One of the more unique projects that we were asked to do when Taylor Swift was performing in Chicago, we were asked to do, we do high-heeled shoes, chocolate high-heeled shoes.
Oh, yes. I've seen those.
And we were asked to replicate 6 of her album covers.
Nice.
Yeah, in her high-heeled shoes. And I there's photographs of them actually on our website at coco-tree.com.
Okay.
And so I actually did have to have my staff design them, because I love Taylor Swift, but I am not a diehard Swiftie. And so they came up with them. But they came up with the designs and they painted the molds and everything, and they came out just amazing. So that was one of the more unique.
I love that. That's super
Sweet,
cool.
Yeah, and the shoes made their way down to Chicago and
safely
down to Chicago, and you know, I'm not at liberty to say who they're for.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, they so that was actually a pretty cool project. But I think one of the more unique places that my career has taken me is the World Chocolate Masters competition, which I did not compete in.
Yeah.
But
where was that?
It's in Paris. It's held in Paris every 4 years, and I've been able to watch to go there twice, and by virtue of knowing the chefs from the Chicago Chocolate Academy, because it's actually sponsored by Barry Callebaut.
Okay.
And by virtue of knowing them, I kind of had the behind the scenes view of the whole thing.
Right.
And it's amazing. These chefs are so, I mean, it's just,
I can imagine.
I mean, the things that they can do, it's
chairs.
just,
Yes.
It's amazing. It's, I can't even tell you. I mean, it's just mind blowing what they can do. And so to have a back seat, to just see all of that, I've been blessed to be able to see that. And I'll be going again next year. I mean, I've also been very lucky to have been able to take classes with some of the top chefs in the world. I don't know if you're familiar with the term, and I'm going to mispronounce this, but Milieu of de France. known as a muff.
Okay.
And I don't know. Are we taking a break here before I go into that whole thing?
It's just
okay. A muff it is the highest designation that you can get, a tradesman, so to speak, can get in France.
Okay.
And so a chef who is a muff, they get a collar. It's a red, white, and blue collar. And to wear that collar is, I mean, you are the best of the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually like against the law to wear that collar if you have not earned that designation. And I've taken classes now with 4 of them.
Okay.
And I mean, those classes cost more than more than classes with other chefs who are not,
right,
who don't
right,
have that
right.
designation. But I mean, it's just, I mean, it's like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get more into the behind the scenes with these people, these lovely folks I have here. We'll be right back.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. Offers all-day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kick back with R&B karaoke Thursday beginning at 7 p.m., followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program end of the season is approaching. Don't miss out on benefits and help with your WE energy bill. Just go to keepwarmmke.org. It's made it easy for you to schedule an appointment. You may also call 414-270-4653. Don't delay. Call us today. Again, that's 414-270-4653. Or visit us online at keepwarmmke.org. This is administered by the State of Wisconsin Home Energy Plus Program.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-681-8471. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500. I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-681-8471 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, or other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-681-8471. 800-681-8471. 800-681-8471.
Hi there, I'm Deslyn Smith, the Executive Director of United Garden Homes Incorporated, the proud sponsor of the Nayumbu Opendo Show, broadcasting on WNOV on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Poverty, illicit behaviors, drug abuse, and addiction have been affecting the quality of life for decades, not only in the Garden Homes neighborhood, but within disenfranchised communities throughout our country. United Garden Homes Incorporated is a neighborhood association-based nonprofit organization committed to supporting individuals and families to see beyond their current situation by way of education in mental health, substance misuse, and violence prevention, as well as with the utilization of resource advocacy to empower and promote healing in our community. For more information, contact United Garden Homes Incorporated at 414-554-5538 or via email at info@ughinc.org.
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Hello, this is Michelle Pitts of the New Pitts Mortuary. Tune in daily to our morning gospel hour, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 a.m. I am personally inviting you to join us for an hour of power, as my dad would say. And most importantly, remember us, the New Pitts Mortuary, in your time of need. We can be reached at 414-447-6000. The New Pitts Mortuary.
Hello, Milwaukee. I'm Mr. Debo, the program director here at the all-new 860 WNOV. On January 8th of this year, WNOV underwent a relaunch, complete with a fresh logo, branding, format, and new shows. Now you can even stream our talk shows on YouTube and Facebook. We're always striving to enhance your listening experience, and now your watching experience too. As we continue to work on improving, there may be more changes in our lineup. Here's a few of the changes we've made. We've added Sandra Silk and All That Jazz on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Chris Heavy Levy on Saturdays with Saturday Backtracks and more, Flavor Fix with foodie Samantha Starr. How about Pillow Talk with me, Mr. Debo, On the Porch with Quabanon Anton Nixon, The Difference with Will Martin, Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, Dr. Kwaku, and Naumbo Mpindo. Money Talks with attorney Carl Plez. Brought to you by Columbia Savings and Loan. The Friday Night Jukebox Party with DJ Kevin Buchanan, St. Mark's Lutheran Church with Pastor Marty from 9 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Community Outreach Clinics, Community Heartbeat with more to come. But rest assured, of course, we have our staple shows that have not changed and will not change. Say Something Real with Michelle Bryant, Community Voice with Keith Paris, International Roots Rock Reggae Meltdown with Ross Joel, The Blues Cafe with me, Mr. Debo, Reverend Al Sharpton from 12 until 3. We're listening to you, and we'll get it right together. And thank you for listening to the all-new 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM, The Voice.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we're back on Flavor Fix on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM, The Voice. Thank you all for tuning in, whether you're listening in on the radio, on Facebook Live, or on YouTube. Shout out to everybody. Woo-hoo. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. We just got done talking about all things chocolate, what goes in, some of the things that goes into the process of making it. But one question I want to ask you, Kishori, is how do you ensure the consistency and flavor and quality across the different batches? I know, it's a process, and like, how do you ensure that those flavors are consistent on a day-to-day?
Well, I think, you have to follow the recipe. It's like anything, use the recipe, follow the recipe, train your staff, beat them over the head. No, it's just a matter of doing it over and over and over again. You know, consistency is key. Yeah. Because, when people come back, it's because they liked it the first time. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure they get it.
Make sure it tastes the same way.
Right. Yeah. What about you, Justin?
Yeah. No, I was saying, I think in the restaurant community, consistency, as we all gone out to eat before, is probably one of the hardest things.
Yep.
And especially, I think there's a little differential, and there isn't too much different, same structure. Your recipe, your structure, training, on our end, tasting everything, tasting before it goes out, just because you made it.
You taste your food, or your sous chefs? You taste, okay.
Yeah, I mean, everybody does.
Have to.
Everybody does.
Not Chef, who was on here last, who said he didn't taste his food from Travioso and Waukesha. Chef Martin Mayana.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't sample.
No. I always look at me.
Or no, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. That was Alex from Sap Sap.
Oh yeah.
He said he has everyone else try it too.
Oh, as long as somebody.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody. He said he does not.
Yeah.
long as somebody does.
the cooks taste everything. Doesn't matter how many times you make it or not.
Yeah.
But it definitely consistency. But recipes for sure. We're still not in the worldly realms of grams, but grams are
Right.
Weights are the way to go. Don't do cups. Don't do
Don't do cups.
Yeah, don't do
Ooh.
cups. Don't do teaspoons. Don't just weigh it out.
Wait it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's one time.
Yeah.
Your scoop of flour, your 1 cup scoop of flour is gonna be different than my 1 cup scoop of flour.
Mm-hmm.
We always would test it whenever cooks would disagree.
Right.
And then we would weigh it, and you could be 100 grams,
Mhm.
150 grams off.
Yeah. Right.
And then explain why yours doesn't taste like mine.
Right.
Well, I did exactly the same way. No.
Yeah.
you didn't,
Right.
Yeah.
That
So
makes a lot
it's
of
breaking
sense.
things down to that. But mainly, and repetitive.
Yeah.
You know,
So how much time goes into curating your tasting menus? They change, and
I mean,
if-
it's the same
what
as
if-
she was talking about.
yeah.
We could, there could be a dish in December that we want fermented garlic on it. And we're going to make fermented garlic, and we're going to train these people who want to learn. Well, once we start recipeing it out, I think 2 years ago we did it. We had to start making fermented garlic in August just to run that dish for December.
Okay.
And we're only open 16 days a month.
Right. Right.
So logistically,
Mhm.
it took that. I mean, but sometimes we can come up with them quickly, and that, but it's definitely a process.
Right.
A process for me, for sure. And now I try to have the people that work with me do those processes, and that way we can have a discussion and why doesn't it taste this way, or I want it to taste this way and it doesn't, and these types of things.
Right.
But no, it doesn't come quick. And then we structured it for us at Ardent just because it was hard for me when we started it, because I would get fixated on something.
Mm.
If I want to make a carrot dish, I'm fixated on carrots. And what are we going to do with carrot? Da, 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 da.
Can we talk about your carrot cake though
yeah.
that I had at my dinner? Now that was really good.
Good.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just
My husband loves
Just
carrot
good,
cake. I'm gonna have to
good.
try some of
It's
that.
good. But so we broke down the menu probably within the first year. I explained it in the sense of it's almost like Tetris, but flavor profiles. So we want to go in spurts and waves of 3 to 4. So you should start out on neutral to acidity, and then work your way up just like you would if you go to a steakhouse and you start out with a salad and then you eat a big steak and then you have chocolate at the end of it or whatever. Now break that up into 3 different runs.
Right.
So we want to have something light acidic and kind of get into the fatty part of a dish, whether that's a raw dish, a fish dish, even a vegetable dish, something of the nature of eggplant or not, or those types of. But then we'll go in 3 to 4 dish spurts. So we'll go up and then we'll come back down. And then we'll kind of go up again and then come back down and do that almost 3 times. And we can't duplicate really like a vinegar, a certain salt.
Yeah.
Because if I season 2 dishes in a row with lemon, you're probably only going to get the lemon out of it.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like, well, that was depressing. You know what I mean? Like I just had the same profile. So, and plus we're looking at, you're going to be spending 3 hours with us.
Yeah.
So we don't really want you to get bored.
Right.
And we want everybody to have their own experiences, but we have to do these things to make sure that we know that we keep our diners on the same path and these types of things. And obviously when Russ was there and when we open back up, when we do beverage pairings, that's a whole nother dynamic that you can do to it. And now how are we making something that is combined tasted a certain way that doesn't taste, neither could taste the same way separately.
Right.
You know what I mean? The wine will taste this way and the food can taste this way. And at certain moments, it's going to taste completely different, depending on what you do.
Do you do the wine pairings, or you have a sommelier that
We usually have sommeliers that do it.
Okay.
Yep, for sure.
Love that.
And it is. And it's more, if I try to do that, then I'm running on the same mindset of profiles as I'm running on the food wise. So I'm still kind of, in my mind, I'm harboring
a bias.
What the possibilities are. Where I'm going to learn
that.
more if I know somebody. You're always going to learn more if you are around people that know more than you are.
Right. Yeah.
So surround yourself with people that know more than you.
Right.
It's going to help. But yeah, menu wise, it's hard, and seasonality changes.
Yeah, I was
all
gonna
the-
ask about that.
Seasonality changes everything. So that's all effects. But now what I was trying to get back is like, so now I'll look at those profiles we've kind of instilled per course. Like one course is going to be bitter, one course is going to be acid. So now I don't have to think about a carrot. If we only have carrots, well, how am I going to make a carrot bitter? That's easier for me to think about than trying to think about how do I make a composed complete dish at third course out of 10 courses in my menu to not mess up course 5, or course 6 or however, because they'll have to coincide that you can't linger,
Right.
you can't have bitter and then linger into bitter on the second course because now your palate's going to be fatigued on bitter and so on.
Man, that thought process.
So
wow.
It is,
I'm
and
very
it's
intrigued by that.
It's a different thought process of mindset. We'd always in the early years, I would always get made fun of because they're like, "Oh, 20 seats, like it's." What'd you do tonight, Justin? 20 people, 40 people, and I was like, I did 1,800 plates.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
That's what you.
Yeah.
Look at it that
So I was
way.
like, like, you did 200 guests, great, but you probably did 250, 300 plates.
Yeah.
I did 20 or 30 guests, 40 max at that time. And we probably did 1,800.
Wow.
It would be like a glass rack per table. Is what we have.
That's crazy.
It's timing.
Your plating, Justin, is so exquisite.
We have wonderful people,
Take us, your team, take us into the world of plating. And
I think you learn,
I play around in the kitchen, but it don't be looking like y'all.
Every chef has their own way as they grow and how they plate.
Right.
Retrospective, but you're also borderline thinking about your composed dish in your profile. And again, I go back to the dish's seasoning. All right. If I'm putting down, for example, on Saturday, we had a smoked ocean trout dish. So it's cured, and then we do like a sweeter smoke on it, a cherry wood or an apple wood on it, right close to service. And it's this very simple dish. We have fermented rhubarb from last year, and then cultured cream, pretty much creme fraiche that we make, and the smoked fish.
Okay.
But now when you do it, ocean trout's fatty, so it's going to calm together. And realistically, just think about having a nice smoked trout spread with some acid, because that's all.
With some acid.
That's all it really is. I think the hard part about plating is, especially in that environment, is trying to think, because we have to make you eat it a certain way without telling you how to eat it.
Yeah.
So whether things are in front of you, off to the side of you, size wise, cut wise, these are all dynamics that when you look at it, you're going to go after something first. Or we put something that's necessary per dessert or, of that nature, where I'll always put it's so I'll put ice cream furthest away from you.
Okay.
Because at some point you're going to have to mix the ice cream with whatever else is on the plate.
Right.
But if I put the ice cream in front of you, probably about 85% of the people are going to eat the ice cream first and then finish and realistically eat it the opposite way.
Puppet master.
So it's all of it's all of that thought, because then there's, and I never did it, and there's restaurants that still do it. I don't enjoy being told how to eat. I don't like
told what?
No, I
being
agree.
told how to eat.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
And at any rate, I've gone to many restaurants and it's wonderful and I understand it and it's this, but to me, then that's my job, the best that I can, because your job is to sit there and have a wonderful time with the person that you're with, or however you want, or if you come by yourself.
Right.
You don't come to the restaurant and spend money to have to work for it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess along those lines, what do you hope your diners take away, from their experience?
Well, I
from
think
your
you,
tasting?
but I think you have that it's an
Just
experience,
that.
and it's your own experience. Everybody that leaves that night is not going to have that same experience. But if you think about it, I also don't know anybody that comes in.
Right.
So I know nothing about you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just got an offender bender outside and you're pissed off and now you're going to sit down and somehow and it's not my fault,
Right.
but you're not real happy right now.
Right.
Yep.
So now this is going to affect your dining experience. We need to register that. And now we need to make sure that we dissolve that through our process.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
vice versa. People that have never had this tasting menu experience before will come in and they're nervous and they're scared and I don't know. And am I going to have something I don't like? And,
Right.
and we do the preamps. We ask them if they have an allergy. We ask, anything, strong dislikes, allergies, all of this. We accommodate everything. We do everything for them. We notice, settings wise, we understand if you're right-handed or left-handed and how we need to set this. We understand what side needs to go where. We have shawls and these types of things that people get cold or anything. We understand we have eyeglasses for people that might need eyeglasses.
Wow.
All of these types of things is what, when I go back to saying hospitality, is what we're there to take care of you.
Yeah.
You understand that
Top
it's not
notch.
You have lactate and everything for me.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I definitely need
We're-
lactate.
Right?
We're used to that. Yeah. I have many employees that were lactose intolerant. So, but because it should be, if we're going to try to keep ourselves at that level that we want to be at and those things that we want to do, then we have to do that. That's, it's not we want you to come and have an experience and be memorable and then not have the things that you might need. There's many times that me and my wife have gone out and we've gone to very nice restaurants that we've talked to. And we've had more things that we talk about service than we talk about food. My wife would end up getting a headache at one of the restaurants and one of the guys completely new. And then all of a sudden halfway through, there's going to be an individual tablet of ibuprofen that all of a sudden gets dropped on the table without saying anything, those are the things that we need to understand on how to read people and accommodate for people without you having to raise your hand and saying, hey, I don't feel well.
Yeah.
We should be able to dictate a lot of that.
Man, that is hospitality.
Yeah, it is.
And it never,
And that's, it's the extra
and
mile.
you should, and it will be.
That attentiveness is going to take an establishment very far because people are going to remember that.
Yes.
Right. We want them to,
Yes.
and especially when we look at it, it's like if we do 14 to 16 people a night, it's also the comparison. Now, what's that percentage in a city of 600,000?
Right.
Not even 1%. So that's all the size that we have. But that's also goes back to why we want to split it out and continue that, because we love it. It's kind of what we want to do, but we want to have part of what we do more accessible to people.
Right.
And do more than 14 a night.
There you have it.
Yeah.
What do you want folks to take away when they leave with your chocolates? What type of?
You know what? Okay. I've had a lot of people come into my shop and say, how can you justify your prices? I hear that a lot. And
do they know how much it costs?
Right. Walk us through some of those back end costs.
Well, yeah. And I have to kind of
like everything's pretty much tripled.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were a lot of issues with getting chocolate for a while because, my chocolate, a lot of it comes from the Ivory Coast. And I don't want to get into the whole fair trade thing. I know where my chocolate comes from, and I know that my chocolate, is ethically sourced. So I don't want to get into all that. I know exactly where my chocolate comes from, and I know it's done right. But
that's a cost.
Yeah, I pay for that. I pay a price.
We usually can make a choice to not.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody makes a choice on what they want to spend their money on.
Right.
Doesn't matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mess
For
around.
us, we could, make
I don't mess around.
maybe make our numbers a little bit better and
I don't
and look at this, but this not what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make a conscious choice to use only the best ingredients, and that costs me money. And unfortunately, I have to pass that on to the consumer, but there are consumers who understand that and will pay for that. And there are other people who they don't see a value in that, and that's okay. And I don't sit there and say, well, you're a cheapskate. No, you're not. You simply find value in other things, and I get that.
Yep.
For sure.
There are people out there.
Quantity or quality?
Well, you know what? There are people out there who can afford a Ferrari. They just don't want to pay for one because they don't see a value in a Ferrari. Great. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. But there are people, for someone to come into my shop and say, how do you justify this price? And you know what? I don't need to justify it. I don't.
Period.
because you don't know what my rent is. You don't know what my bills are. You don't know what my, what I have to pay my staff. So no, I'm not going to justify my pricing to you. But I also, what I want people to take away is I understand that because they'll say to me, well, I can go buy an Easter bunny at Walgreens for, $6. Okay, go.
Yeah.
There's one, if you go out this door
Yeah.
and then you just hang a hard left, there's Walgreens. And that's okay.
Yep.
You know what? That's okay. But when you come into my shop and you pay, $13 for this Easter bunny, you are going to get this beautifully wrapped Easter bunny. You are going to get a bag. You are going to get this tissue. You are going to get a smile from my employees. You are going to be asked, is there anything else I can get you? And you are going to get treated like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get service.
Yeah.
The likes of which you're going to get samples. You are going to
Mm-hmm.
get tons of
You're gonna leave
samples.
feeling
You're going to
good
get
spending $13.
yeah. You're gonna leave there going, feeling like, you're gonna want to come back,
right?
Because you're gonna feel good about that purchase, and you're gonna feel good about us.
Yeah,
and
that's how it should be.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
because we want you to come back. We want you to tell your friends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we take time and we take pride in
Right.
everything that we do. And we recognize that, this stuff is a little more expensive. So we want to make sure that you feel like it's worth it.
Like
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Exactly.
Looking at it to
Yep.
me is like it's worth it.
Right.
I mean, people eat with their eyes first.
Yeah.
Everyone says that.
Yeah.
And you were talking about his plating. People eat
Mhm.
with their eyes first.
Yeah.
So it's got to look good. But it doesn't matter how good it looks if it doesn't taste good.
Right.
Right.
You only got past halfway. So
Yeah.
So what do you have coming up? You got any events? Anything coming up soon? Tell us about that. How people
Event,
can
yeah.
find out and get
Events
information.
now, I got another weekend of Ardent in Green Bay next weekend. But follow us on social media for sure at this time period.
Mhm.
Or email us if you need any events. We have probably a couple chef dinners in April as we slowly start to open. We hope to open the lounge first,
Mhm.
probably about the end of April. But we're looking at a chef friend of mine, Brian Fisher, will probably come in a weekend beginning of April to cook.
Okay.
More of a pop-up for him with us.
Mhm.
And then we have a wonderful friend of mine, Noah, that has Oriole in Chicago.
Oh.
But we want to do something that's very casual,
Yeah.
like sandwiches or
Nice.
something, or a bistro menu.
Ooh.
And that will probably be our opening weekend. We're trying to coordinate.
Ooh, I
so
gotta
that we
make
can
sure.
do
I gotta
that.
be at that one.
So, but we want to do more of those
Mhm.
items.
Yeah.
And like I said, keep on our social media because some of my old employees are now doing pop-ups, and we'll probably have more on
Mm.
Sunday nights. And I'm trying to get them to do it almost as a restaurant. Or no,
Right.
keep on doing it every Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now traction gets, and
Yeah,
they'll
it
get
keeps
busier,
builds
and
up.
now it's
Yep.
going to be part of the community.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say share how they can find you on social? What are your handles?
So
and
Ardent
your
Justin
website?
Ardent Justin on Instagram, and then Ardent MKE on Instagram. Same with Jessica on Facebook.
Yeah.
Website
And then
is ardentmke.com.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yep. And right now for fish fries, those types of things, we rotate, and it's still on the reservation tabs
Okay.
on that. But obviously, if you follow us on social media,
Tell us a little bit more about the fish fry.
So the fish fry, I've always wanted to do one for a little while, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really feasible for me at the point because running the restaurant. But for the space that we have, I mean, we didn't get a hood until about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So we're still all electric. But now we can feasibly kind of do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So we figured out that fish fry, especially during this time period, we might as well try it while we're on hiatus and do it on Friday nights.
Right.
It's gotten a really great response, so I think we'll keep it once we reopen.
Yeah.
And start doing a lot more of those things.
Yeah. And what fish? What
Yeah,
comes
what kind
with
of
it?
fish are we
The
doing?
What's
bluegill
price?
bluegill or perch.
Okay.
Nice.
Half
Gotta
a
have the
pound of
perch.
each.
Gotta have the perch.
Yes, I grew up obviously very rural, and
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think
Wisconsin.
I was probably 16 at the time. I looked at my dad, and we went out, local bar and grill. And it was like fried cod, and I was like, Dad, where do you catch cod here? He's like, you don't. And I was like, well, then why are we
eating
we're
it?
surrounded by water. Why are we eating cod?
Right.
Like, it's not, we
Walleye,
catch fish all the
maybe. Let's
time.
get
Like,
some
I don't know.
walleye out here.
Yeah, there's walleye too.
Yeah.
I love walleye.
Right.
So it's more on the meal setting. It's $30. It probably can feed two pretty easily. You get 2 rye bread sandwiches,
Nice.
half a pound of coleslaw, tartar sauce, half a pound of fish, and half a pound of fries.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then we sell clam chowder by the pint.
Oh, okay.
Seafood tins like smoked oysters and sardines and those types of things.
All on Fish Fry Friday.
Yep,
Okay.
all on Friday. And then Kyle, our bar manager, has been making like pre-batch cocktails that he'll sell too.
Nice.
What kind?
We're close to like what you had.
The rum.
Peach rum.
Was it pineapple?
Hey.
No, yeah, roasted pineapple.
Pineapple rum Manhattan.
Nice.
Delicious.
Yuzu and peach margarita.
Oh, hell yeah.
Those are winners.
You had me at yuzu.
Oh, yeah, it was so good.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. What do you have coming up? I know you mentioned a couple classes. You want to go in a little bit more details on how people can get more information?
Yeah, actually, you can go out on our website. It's coco-tree.com. And so the class dates are out there, and you can sign up and pay. Actually, they're almost full.
That's great.
So yeah.
What are the dates?
I believe one of them is April 19th, and then the other one is May 9th.
Okay.
And one is a Sunday and one is a Thursday. And I'm probably gonna have to add a couple more dates because I believe the Sunday class is closed. And I think there's one more spot left on Thursdays. Unfortunately, well, the thing is, there are only 4 people per class because my space is not that big.
Right.
So, and then we also do birthday parties for kids.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do birthday parties for kids. They get to make their own candy bars, and we've hosted like Girl Scout troops.
Oh,
and things like we have a lot of fun with kids. Oh my God,
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But,
walking in, it's just like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
chocolate everywhere.
It's like Willy Wonka.
Right.
They even love. I mean, we put them in hairnets, and it's just hilarious. But anyway, So we've got the classes coming up, and then what else? We just I actually am going to be attending a few classes, so I'm going to be in and out for the next month or so. I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of shooting. I shoot, so I'll be shooting some guns.
That's
nice.
Awesome. Yeah. But so we have
That's
that
a great break from
Yeah,
the
right?
typical day. Your typical day.
Stressful leader.
Yeah.
But and I'm planning to have a fish fry at Ardent.
Please.
If I can get a table.
Please let us know. It's not dine in right now, so you can have as many tables as you want.
Woohoo!
You just pick it up.
Right? But you know what I would like to do though? I think a wine and chocolate.
We should talk.
Yeah, I think we need to make that happen.
When we reopen,
this is what I love right here.
Yeah.
Collaboration.
This is why we do it.
Yeah. I mean, but seriously though,
No,
I think we could make that
Let's
work.
figure out when we reopen.
Where can we find you on social media? No.
Instagram. We're at Cocoa Tree Confectionery. Same thing on Facebook.
Okay.
We're actually our Facebook is a little on the snarkier side, so you kind of have to prepare yourself for that.
Because you're doing it.
Yes.
So it kind of you have to have a little thicker skin.
Her personality comes out a little bit more on Facebook. So
I'm being nice here now. But you have to have a bit of a thicker skin for the Facebook page. But our Instagram is absolutely professional all the time.
Yes.
And you'll see a lot of the photographs of a lot of the things that we can do.
All right.
Well,
thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
you for having us.
Thank you.
Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, as you know, Samantha Starr. You can follow me in my foodie journey on Instagram at Samantha Starr Events and Facebook, Samantha Starr Events. I will see y'all next week at 5 p.m. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you.